Hello everyone, I'm going to be showing you my Japanese immersion learning setup. I've been using it for a couple years at this point and I think it served me well, so I figured I might as well share. Now, the first thing I'm going to be showing is Anki. Anki is a flashcard system that uses the principles of spaced repetition in order to maximize your recall rate for those cards. It's kind of difficult to set up, to be honest. It's not very intuitive or user-friendly, but there's tons of videos and on YouTube explaining, and heck, there's tons of videos catered towards Japanese people, Japanese learners, because a lot of Japanese learners use Anki. So you can watch those videos, tinker with your own setup. But I also recommend using a couple of add-ons. Now, I have a bunch of them here, but you don't really need them. The ones that I recommend are Anki Connect and Japanese Support. Anki Connect allows you to connect other programs on your computer to your Anki account, which makes one-click card creation available. And Japanese Support automatically inputs furigana into your cards. Quick warning though, sometimes the furigana, especially for names, aren't accurate, so you're going to want to proofread it. It's not very common. 99% of the time the furigana is correct, but again, user beware. Next, Yomitan. Yomitan is a Google Chrome add-on, which is a pop-up dictionary. What you do is you download dictionaries onto your computer, upload them to Yomitan, and then once you hover your mouse cursor over an unknown word, it'll bring up the dictionary and the definition for that word. This is sort of superfluous pop-up behavior, scanning, appearance. You can tinker with that yourself, but Anki is what I want to get into. Anki integration. That's why we downloaded the Anki Connect add-on onto Anki before. What it allows you to do is with one click of the button, it will automatically create a card for that unknown word that you were just searching. So to give an example, say you're scrolling through the internet, you come across a sentence with one unknown word. We'll just use this first one for example. アメリカでの球が具体的どのようなものか説明すると MLB は最高級のボールを使ってる。Say you don't know the word 説明 for argument's sake. You click on your hotkey, mine's control, hover, and boom, the definition for 説明 automatically comes up. よくわかるように述べること。明らかして教えること。If you don't know what that means, I guess like explaining so that it's easily understood, or teaching by explaining. I use monolingual dictionary. If you're less advanced, you can use a bilingual dictionary. But honestly, what I recommend more is copying the monolingual definition and going to some sort of translator. DeepL, heck, ChatGPT works pretty well these days. Paste that definition, and instead use this onto and copy and paste this onto your card. The reason I recommend that is because monolingual definitions are better in basically every single way. They're sometimes a lot more concise. They get the idea down pat more than English definitions. It especially works for adjectives and verbs because there's not a one-to-one translation for every word. Sometimes the English definitions are oddly worded and they don't get the true sense of the word. So I would very much suggest doing this. Now, I'll show you the instant card creation. You just click on this. We go back to Anki and boom. Card was automatically created with that sentence. You flip the card over and that definition is right here. Now, you don't really need any of this. These are secondary definitions with different dictionaries. I would recommend just deleting those because they take up a lot of space. It makes the card a little sloppy. But again, you can sort of tinker with the settings. You can only add one dictionary if you want, so it'll automatically only have this one line. It all depends on what you want to do. So that was reading. What about listening to TV or movies or drama? How would you go about creating cards for that? Well, first you're going to want to download the subtitle file for the specific show. You go on this website called jimaku.cc, and they have both anime and live action drama, and they have tons of shows. You just find the show you're looking for, click on it, and you can download the subtitle file for that specific show. And as for the show itself, there are ways that you could get the shows for free, whether they're legal or illegal means, so I can't exactly put them into the description, but trust me, with a simple Google search, you can easily find resources to find anime and drama and movies for free. So next, you're going to want to use something called ASB Player. ASB Player allows you to use Yomitan for your subtitles. So I'll give a quick example. It's easier to just show you an example. As you can see, I have the first episode of Death Note open, as well as the subtitles that I downloaded from Jimaku. So say you're watching along, you're understanding or not, depending, and you come across this sentence, for example. It's the same principle as the other sentence here. You know the sentence, you know every single word in the sentence except for one. So, たまには仲間に入れよ. So say you don't know the word nakama, for example. You could use Yomitan to open the pop-up dictionary. ある物事を一緒になってするもの。同じ種類に属するもの. And boom, you have the definition right there while you're watching the show. And then, instead of using this button to create a written Anki card, instead you click on this button after you set up your Anki integration, of course, in ASB Player settings. But what this allows you to do is create audio cards. So, boom, let's just make this card real quick. Nakama. Add the definition. たまには仲間に入れよ. Export, and boom, we're done. Open up Anki, and now here. たまには仲間に入れよ. たまには仲間に入れよ. On the front of the card, you have a screenshot, and you have the audio that automatically plays, and on the back of the card, you have a transcription, as well as the word that you're learning and the definition that you added. Honestly, I find these audio cards to be much more useful. They help me pat the words down better in my mind. I found that when I was using sentence cards, I was becoming reading dominant, which I don't want. So essentially, I would watch a show with subtitles off, Japanese subtitles off, and then I wouldn't understand the sentence. And then I would turn the Japanese subtitles on, and I would read it perfectly, and I would think to myself, wait, I could read it, but I can't understand it. So I started making these cards instead a while back, these audio cards, and I have definitely noticed a improvement in my listening abilities. Now, this is a pro tip that I'm about to show you, but download a program called Mega download. This is a app that allows you to easily upload and share files between your computer and your phone. They have one for both. I'm using PC and I use iOS. It's on the App Store and it's on the PC. I guess you can just download the file on the PC. I'm sure they have it for Mac OS as well as Android. But essentially what you want to do is download this. Sign in, create your account, whatever, and open it up here. Go to settings, go to sync. You're going to want to click add and select a folder that has your audio. Now the way to find that is you're going to want to get the audio from your Anki cards that you create. I have a shortcut here that automatically opens mine. It might be different on your computer depending on where you saved it, but typically mine's in app data, roaming, Anki 2, Nihongo boot, and collection.media. It's always going to be called collection.media, so if you search for that, you will be able to find it. And once you have the location, you can open up the settings again, sync, add, choose this location, and just create a new folder here. I already have mine set up, and then click sync. I already have mine set up, so I'm not going to do that. As you can see, it's called collection.media. So yours should look like this when you're done. Now what we just did is we set up a link between where our audio and JPEG files for our Anki cards are saved and our phone. So essentially we can access those same files from our phone, but we don't need the JPEG files. We only care about the audio files. So we go to manage exclusions, add exclusion, files ending with .jpeg. I already have JPEG, so I'm not going to click add, as you can see here. But what that'll do is it'll only add the MP3 files. Again, we don't need the JPEG files. We don't care about the pictures in the front of the cards. We care about the actual word. So now, pretend this is my phone. But on my phone, you will see this. Your cloud. I have mine saved as Anki. And now I have all of the audio MP3 of every single audio card that I created on Anki. And now what you do is each day, whenever you make your set amount of cards, say you make 10 cards a day, you take those 10 cards for the day, those 10 audio files for the day, and you move them to a separate file, or you copy them to a separate file, because you don't want to accidentally delete anything in here. And what you do is anytime you can't sit down and listen or watch Japanese, a TV show or anything like that, instead you listen to those 10 audio files on repeat. I found that it was definitely helpful in helping me remember words, because I would almost imagine the character speaking in my mind whenever I would come across that word in the wild in a different context. So that is definitely something that I would recommend. And then once you're done for the day, you've listened to it like 50 plus times or whatever on repeat, you can delete that new folder that you created and leave everything here. Because again, you don't want to, this is the folder that your Anki on your computer uses. So you don't want to delete anything from here, or else you delete the data from your cards. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, there's other things that I use. For example, my VPN that I use to access Japanese TV. I have game emulators that I could use to play Japanese games. But for the most part, those things that I showed you today, pretty much 90%, 99% of what you need for Japanese immersion learning. I hope you learned something today, and I hope this can be useful. Thanks for watching.